The immediate effects is obviously death. Within the first few months after the bombing, it is estimated by the Radiation Effects Research Foundation that between 90,000 and 166,000 people died in Hiroshima, while another 80,000 died in Nagasaki. These deaths include those who died due to the force and the heat generating from the bombings, as well as death caused by acute radiation exposure. The Radiation Effects Research Foundation estimates that the risk of leukemia increased by 46% for bomb victims. Among the long-term effects suffered by atomic bomb survivors, the most deadly was leukemia. An increase in leukemia appeared about 2 years after the attacks and peaked around 4 to 6 years later. Children represent the population that was affected most severely. The effects of the bombing are still apparent today. For all other cancers, the incidence increase did not appear until around 10 years after the attacks. Individuals who had been exposed to radiation before birth, studies showed that exposure led to increases in small head size, mental disability, as well as impairment in physical growth. Data from the Radiation Effects Research Foundation in Hiroshima showed that lightly exposed fetuses had fewer phenotypic abnormalities than were found in people directly exposed to the radiation. Exposure to radiation can cause acute immediate effects by killing cells and directly damaging tissue. Radiation can also have effects that happen on longer scale, such as cancer. There's a possibility that a mutation can happen spontaneously, like mutations that happen due to radiations of sun, but radiations act as what is called mutagen that increases the likelihood of having mutations occur. This happens when ionizing radiation can deposit molecular bond-breaking energy, which can damage DNA, thus altering genes. In response, a cell will either repair the gene, die, or retain the mutation. There are two ways in which radiation can damage DNA. The first one is direct damage, when the particles or the photons from the rays get deposited on the DNA and they cause breakdown of some of the DNA strains. The second way in which radiation affects DNA is the indirect way. Radiation interacts with water-breaking chemical bonds, leading to the formation of free radicals, which are electrons that are not paired. Free radicals then cause a free radicals cascade, which cause a heavy damage to the DNA.
When an atomic bomb explodes, plutonium in the device goes through a process called fission. Fission begins by the plutonium absorbing a neutron. This causes the nucleus to become unstable, so it splits into two smaller nuclei, and 2 to 3 neutrons are released in this process. This then causes a chain reaction. An incredible amount of energy is released during this process. This creates a huge flash and then intense heat. Around the explosion, the surrounding areas can be up to 10 million degrees Celsius. Electromagnetic radiation causes a fireball to be formed. In Hiroshima, everything 1 mile from the atomic bomb was completely destroyed. The heat from the radiation burned everything and caused total destruction to the environment. Many of the rice crops, which the people relied on heavily for food and income, were completely destroyed by the atomic bomb. Through various experiments, it has been found that radiation has its largest impact on plants while they are still seeds, but large quantities of radiation can cause a slowed process of growth, loss of fertility, or genetic mutations that eventually change characteristics of the plant. Plants and other organisms in the natural environment respond to radiation in a way that is similar to humans. Natural radiation is beneficial to plants, as many plants rely on non-ionizing radiation. This is radiation that produces light so photosynthesis can occur. Although a large percentage of the environment was destroyed quickly by the initial blast of the atomic bomb, many organisms died due to ionizing radiation. Ionizing radiation breaks down DNA, which damages cells to the extent that it can kill them, or cause them to mutate. If too many cells are destroyed, the organism will die.